The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind. I am clutch. I am the difference maker.
Clip it. Let's go.
I am the game changer.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Game Changers live on the Right Way Sports Network's YouTube channel. I'm your host, CEO of the Right Way Sports Network, Malik Wright, joined with my co-hosts, a new co-host too as well. But we've got Aidan, we've got Cody, we've got Daniel, and we've got the most controversial man I know here at TWSN, Jake Circus, who is formerly of the TWSN show, officially joining us on the Game Changers. I'm super excited to have Jake here. I know he's excited to be here. And Jake, welcome, my man. How do you feel to be gracing? Well, I'm gracing my presence to you again. Like, we're on the same show again.
It's always an honor, and I'm below you, which for obvious reasons, right? But I'm fired up. Let's get this thing started.
Yeah. So we know we have a jam-packed show. A lot of people are interested in all the things we got to talk about. We do have to talk about a lot, but Jake, because it is your first time on the show, right? We always have to roll out the red carpet. So Jake, I had to, dig deep back in the past for this. I had to really, really search for this. And you have some explaining to do. You remember that old saying where it's like, Lucy, you've got some explaining to do. I forgot what show it was. It was like Lucy or something like that. Our parents probably know what I'm talking about, but it was a thing. Well, Jake, you seem to have a hate for a specific player in the NFL. You have, you pretty much went at them on Twitter at every opportunity that you had. Jake, don't worry. You don't have to think about the tweets that you have said about this player. I did you the favor of filling them up.
Yes.
And Jake, you have to answer for this now. What did they say at the Game of Thrones? This is pretty much where you have to answer for your sins. And now's the time. And I'm hoping by the end of this, Jake, that you're able to issue this player an apology. But without further ado, Jake, who
is it?
Let's go to it. Lamar has 11 fumbles. I believe this year. Lamar didn't win those games. He contributed. Baker wins games.
I remember tweeting this.
Trubisky contributes. Huge
Oh,
difference.
wow.
Oh, no, there's more. Lamar doesn't win big games. Oh, no, there's more. Kyler Murray over the next 5 years is what everyone, not me, thought Lamar was going to be. Oh, he might just seriously be a running back. No one knew how to defend last year. I got more. What's with you in MVPs? Apparently, Lamar is still top 4 because he won MVP last year. Giannis arguably shouldn't have won even either of those MVPs. He's also not even close to a clutch player. Wait.
Bro, that tweet is double bad.
Right. Mahomes doesn't even need to be on the field to haunt Lamar Jackson. There's more.
Ooh,
He's literally going up against someone in slides. He should be throwing footballs. And consider his passer rating was 15th in the league and his completion percentage was 27th. No, there's more. Lamar Jackson might not be a top 10 quarterback. And don't worry, Jake, you are not alone with that sentiment. Trust me, you are not alone in that sentiment because you said that pretty adamantly. You believe what you said when you said about Lamar Jackson. And don't worry, Daniel Alameda agreed with you. He's not. The TWSN podcast crew got this right.
So, are you going to let me explain now? Because
I want to hop in after. All right.
It's time to explain for your sins. You owe Lamar Jackson a huge apology, and I'm here.
I gave Lamar Jackson an apology right after that Chiefs game. If I don't know if you remembered, I just didn't go back and deleted 25 tweets from 16 months ago. Like, yeah, there was some tweets from 2020 when he was 15th in the league in completion percentage and 27th in passer rating and 33rd, I believe, in yards per game. Lamar Jackson was not a top 10 quarterback last year, and that's why the Ravens didn't go far. Now, I will say this year. He is playing well. He has improved his completion percentage by 5%, his passer rating by, I think, 7 or 8 points. The Ravens are winning these very close games. It's very comparable to 2012 Ravens, but this year they have a way better offense. I think a big part of Lamar's success this year has been Hollywood Brown. He's been getting open and actually catching the ball for once. They've been using him very well. Mark Andrews is going off, so he has help. They're not running the ball, forcing the run to him as much and trusting him as a passer, which they haven't done the first 3 years. Now, the ones about Baker, those were from when his rookie year. If you remember, he had 6 fumbles in his first 4 games. It was a mess. They were okay, and then they lost the playoff game and eventually booed him off the field against the Chargers. That was from 2018. Jake, but I have issued an apology to Lamar Jackson after that Chiefs game when he
wait.
This year.
No. Let me say something, Jake. Let me say something. Welcome to my show. But Jake, we worked together in the past before. Listen, I want you in front of everyone right now, live on the Game Changers show, to admit that you were wrong about Lamar Jackson. I know you said you've issued it before, but some people might be blind. Some people might need to hear it,
Okay.
So I would like you to apologize to Lamar Jackson, because let me say something about you, Jake. I just want you to keep the same energy, because the first thing that happened when Lamar Jackson had a breakout game a couple nights ago, texted you. I said, Jake, your Twitter's kind of quiet, buddy. Where are you? He was like, I was busy. I was like,
I didn't watch the game.
Conveniently.
I was busy. I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights. He looked great.
Well, guess no, he didn't look great. He looked damn good.
Okay,
he looked like one of the best players in the NFL. Wait,
I will say this: there was a lot of knocks on Lamar the last couple of years, but the one knock on him was very similar to the knock on Aaron Rodgers. Is that when he goes behind, is when he gets behind. They don't win those games. Now there's twice where they have fallen behind against good teams this year. They have won both those games. So that is no longer a knock on Lamar Jackson and the modern day Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh. I will say this though, I have said countless times, and I will stand on this hill, Lamar Jackson will never win a Super Bowl. If he wins one, I will give an apology like I gave the apology to Giannis. Lamar Jackson will never win a Super Bowl. This Ravens team will not win with a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. I don't think they're going to go there this year. That this is probably it feels like it's maybe their year, because all the other teams they can beat Buffalo. They've beaten Buffalo in the past, but the Chiefs are faltering a lot. So it feels like it could be their year. I don't think so, but he's proving a lot of people wrong in terms of not being able to come back and win big games. And credit to him, he's been doing a great job. But he will not win a Super Bowl. I will say that.
I can appreciate how you are able to admit when you are wrong about something.
A lot of people were.
A lot of people. That
was a very fair knock.
Listen. A lot of people were. But Jay, it takes a special kind of person, right? And that's why you're here. That's why you're on the Game Changers, because you are a game changer. You are definitely a game changer. We need someone who's going to shake up the show. We need someone who's going to say outlandish things. We need someone that Malik can make their punching bag on a Wednesday night in, Wednesday night out. We need that. It just wasn't fun beating up on Daniel week in and week out. So we had to go grab you. We had to bring you to the show. And welcome to the big leagues, kid. But we want to keep the show going. Deontay Wilder loses to Tyson Fury in the trilogy fight. Some people said the trilogy shouldn't have happened. Listen, by the way, I appreciate everyone who's watching the show right now. I know why you're here, and we're going to get to everything that I have to say later in the show, probably after this topic. But we just want to touch on boxing really, really quick. It won't be long, guys. But Deontay Wilder, he fights Tyson Fury in the trilogy. He drops Tyson Fury twice in the trilogy. Tyson Fury drops him in the trilogy, and then what happens? It all comes crashing down on him in the 11th round. No more excuses. No more tampering gloves. None of that. The trilogy's done. It's over. So the question is, guys, I don't even want to talk about the fight. It happened. We all saw what happened. We're a couple of days removed from the fight. What happened? I'm going to answer a simple question. Should Deontay Wilder retire? He's lost 2 fights in his professional career. Both of those are named to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury seems like he's on the trajectory of fighting for a championship, a championship belt, unifying the heavyweight championship belts. It doesn't seem like we'll ever see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder again. What say you? Aidan, let's start with you. Deontay Wilder, should he retire or should he not?
No, I'm not. I'm just not a fan of retiring on a loss. Even if it was a good fight against Tyson Fury, what I would do is, even if you don't win another championship, just try to, end on a high note, end on a victory. I'm not ending on a loss like that.
the question, Max, I use your name sounds familiar. I'm not sure where I know you from, but the one thing I will say is you said Wilder is in your words ass. Here's the issue I have with that. Deontay Wilder was undefeated for 40 plus fights. Deontay Wilder had a 97% knockout rate in boxing. He's one of the biggest punchers in boxing history. He had a higher knockout rate than Mike Tyson. That's saying something. That's huge. So no, Wilder is not garbage. He just happened to run into a guy that decided it was cool to weigh 40 plus pounds more and who happens to be a superior boxer. That's who he ran into. And that's a fact. So no, this should not tarnish Wilder's legacy. No, Wilder is not ass. No, we're not going to forget that Tyson Fury dominated the heavyweight division for 5+ years. We're not going to forget that. So that's one thing I won't stand for. Jake, what do you think?
Look, he quickly said he wasn't going to retire. Right at I think a day or two after the fight. If he thinks he can still compete at the high level, then there's still a lot more money to be made. There's still a lot more fun in the sport to be had for someone who's been at the top of boxing for a very long time. He's 35 years old, and like if you lose to the best, it doesn't mean like you can't be the second or third best. Like there's so much more in combat sports than just championships. Like if it's all up to him. Like he's fun to watch. He has the knockout power that everyone talks about. What was a lot of people's reasoning for picking him in this third fight and the last one, to be fair too. So it's more than just championships. It doesn't seem like he has a path to winning any belts anytime soon. But if he thinks he can still compete at a high level, which he does, then there should be no reason why he can't fight.
See, listen to Jake. Listen to Jake Deontay. If you ever hear this, he just said it his best. It's nothing wrong with being second or third best. Jake said it's okay to lose. Jake's used to losing to me in debates. It's okay to lose, right? It's okay to lose. There's nothing. What did Meatloaf say? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So it's okay. It's all right. But me personally, guys, I personally am of the belief that when it comes to the sport of boxing, that you should get in, make your money, and get out as soon as you can. That's what I'm the personal belief of. To me, there's nothing fun about boxing. There's nothing fun about getting punched in the head. There's nothing fun about, having CTE in the future. So Deontay Wilder is a multi-millionaire at this point of his career. And he's always said, if I don't have if I'm not fighting for something big, what am I fighting for at this stage? I don't know if there's anything left for Deontay Wilder to accomplish unless Anthony Joshua grows a pair of balls and says, you know what, Deontay, I will fight you finally, because that is a fight that people have wanted to see. But chances are he probably has a greater chance of Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua has a greater chance of accepting that fight than the Chiefs do of going back to Super Bowl this year. But Cody, what are your Cody and Daniel? We'll end with you guys real quickly. Let's keep it going.
Hey, look, I'm not here. Look, I call this pulling a Malik, all right? I'm just going to dust my shoulders off and say I was right. I believe I was the only member of the Game Changers show to pick Tyson Fury in that fight this Saturday. You love it. Oh, on the Game Changer show at the time, Jake, all right? I'm
calling out the – you three clowns? What? You didn't pick Fury?
All right.
It's a burden to be as right as I am.
Remember you said that, Jake.
So
remember you used the word the C word. Remember you called me a clown. Remember that. You'll pay for it later on the show. Don't worry.
Oh, we love it. But heavyweight fights, when you have a great heavyweight fight, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it in sports, in combat sports or sports in general. Heavyweight fights bring the juice. That fight Saturday was incredible.
Absolutely. And Daniel, let's cap it off with you.
I mean, even Tyson Fury said in his post-fight press conference, Wilder hit like a truck. Wilder knocked him down like he's never been knocked down before. He's one of the hardest punchers, if not the hardest puncher in the history of the sport. So I think, as Aidan said, you can't end off on a loss. Like, obviously, he can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man. He's a millionaire. But I think return back to the ring, go get your win back. And obviously, you won't be able to fight Tyson Fury again, but get a win on your record and end off on a win.
All right, guys, we're going to keep it going. Kyrie Irving situation. We're going to touch on this really, really quick. We have a couple more. This is a jam-packed show. Let me just say that. And while we're here, make sure you guys subscribe to the TWSN YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate the support, but keep it going here. Kyrie Irving refuses to get the COVID vaccination, and He's, creating taking a stand. Listen, at the end of the day, you could do whatever you want with your body. I'm not here to, it seems like the COVID vaccination become a political, debate back and forth. That's not what we're interested in doing on this show. That's not what we're interested in for. Just want to make sure we say that right off the back. We're not going to sit up here and ridicule Kyrie Irving. But what I will say is, I've been getting a strange feeling, guys, is that Kyrie Irving is going to retire, sooner rather than later. I always felt like his interest does not lie with basketball as much as people think his interest does. And it's crazy because he's such a phenomenal player. And I think when you look back at this, I saw an interview today with James Harden. He seems pissed. Kevin Durant was pissed. I think when we look back at this, we're going to look back at this like what could have been. The Nets probably could have won a championship with Kyrie Irving, but because of his decision making, I'll say that it is his God-given right and freedom to do, in this beautiful country of America that we live in. It's his freedom to do whatever it is he sees fit. But there are consequences for your actions that you do. And you might have to look back at this. You might have to say, the Brooklyn Nets may never win an NBA championship because of this, because you figure this team came together with the idea, with the mindset. The first person that came here was Kyrie, and then it was Kevin Durant. They came together as a duo, but it was first Kyrie that was like, hey, I'm going to go to Brooklyn. Then Kevin Durant made the decision, and then you add James Harden. You're like, okay, absolutely, this is the only team, or one of the only teams that could compete with the Lakers. This seems like a missed opportunity, guys, and I just want you guys to weigh in. Cody, I want to start with you.
Look, honestly, I'm not surprised with Kyrie's decision. He's always been very particular about his body, right? His training has always been a little unique. I think he's been vegan since like 2017, 2018. So I'm not stunned, right? He's very particular about what he puts in his body. And if that's his, if that's what he wants to do, it's what he wants to do, right? He's going to pay the consequences of that and forfeiting, I believe it's $17 million this year if he doesn't play. And if he's willing to sacrifice that, that's fine. That's his decision. It is what it is. I still think the Nets can absolutely compete. Now, I don't agree with they're the only team that can knock down the Lakers, because quite frankly, the Lakers knocked themselves down last year. And
that was due to injury. Let's not get crazy.
They can still get hurt this year.
Yeah, because Anthony Davis is the pinnacle of health. But if we're talking about these guys at full health, come on, guys. Like, let's not take a shot. Don't get me started. See, that is the plus to having Jake on the show. We're both LeBron guys. Don't get me started. That's not a knock on LeBron. All I'm saying is more than one team is capable of winning this NBA championship in this upcoming season. This is one of the seasons I'm actually more excited for, because I believe there is quite a bit of parity this year. So
interesting.
It should be a fun season to watch, but we'll see. It'll be something to keep an eye on with the Nets.
I'm going to have one more person touch on the Kyrie Irving thing, because we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. Daniel, I want you to touch on it, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie, it's always been what ifs, right? He hasn't played in 5 of the past 7 playoffs. The one that he did, he won the championship, right? So at some point, it's not what ifs, it's reality. Like the injuries and now this. I hate to say it, but if Kevin Durant's okay with it, get rid of him. Trade him. If he doesn't want to do this, trade him. Get rid of him. He's gone. So, I mean, Kyrie Irving, if he, obviously it's his right. He can do whatever he wants with his body. He can not take the vaccine. But in reality, right now, he is hurting his team, and that's the fact. So get rid of him. If he's not willing to do that, and if Kevin Durant, obviously, and your team, James Harden, if they're okay with that, because you can't just get rid of them and Kevin Durant be upset. So if they're okay with that, get rid of him, move on.
Speaking of getting rid of him, what's next for Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers? Listen, the 76ers about to play a game the other day, and guess who comes strolling in? Ben Simmons. He's like, hey, listen, I'm here. It's like Jake just popping up on the show. I'm here, and I'm here to shake it up. It's weird for me because a couple of weeks ago, he's like, I'm never going to speak to you again. It's like almost like a girlfriend. Like, we're done. We're done. I don't want to see you anymore. I'm never going back to Philadelphia. And then lo and behold, you're back to Philadelphia. So it's just kind of weird for me. Aidan and Jake, I'm going to have you guys touch on this. Aidan, we're going to start with you. What the hell is going on with Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers? To me, this isn't in any other way besides a breakup, because you got to question how the dynamic of his and Joel Embiid's relationship, has changed, especially Joel taking shots at him in the media. What do you think, Aidan?
It's been time for a breakup, and the Sixers really can't drag this on for too much longer. This is becoming a headache. Now, there's a chance maybe Ben Simmons plays to start the regular season, which, in my opinion, for his trade value would be a good thing, because you're looking at it, Ben Simmons is a better regular season performer than he is in the playoffs. So, when his trade value, you talk about like fantasy football all the time, sell high and buy low. After the playoffs, he was more of a buy low guy. But in the regular season, it's a potential sell high situation for the Philadelphia 76ers. But yeah, it needs to end. Ben Simmons at this point, I think he's overrated. His trade value is just overvalued. Listen, like the Pacers offer Malcolm Brogdon a first-round pick. I think another role player was in there as well in the trade, and they declined it. I'm like, hey, I'd take that. I love that because at this point, Ben Simmons, to me, if I was a GM, I'd stay away from him.
Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving trade. Jake, what are your thoughts?
I'm all for it. I want to see them like fight on the court, and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid have been one of like the most disappointing, hyped up duos in the NBA for quite some time. Like the whole process thing, and then they got the GM, what's the guy from the Rockets? Daryl Morey. They brought in Daryl Morey, and they had this. They had great starting five, one of the best in the league, and kept on disappointing every single year. But like, I'm all for Ben Simmons coming back. Like, why not? There should be no reason why. Like, it seems like Philly wants him to come back, and of course, Rich Paul wants him to come back as well and to play so he doesn't get fined and his contract stays the same. But if they get it to work out, then it'll be nothing but fireworks for Philly. Because I don't know if I'd otherwise watch Philadelphia basketball.
And Rich Paul just wants everything in his life to be peaceful right now because Adele's about to drop the album. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him there. I had to make a shameless plug there, right, for that. But anyway, we want to keep it going, guys. We want to talk about college football. My Alabama Crimson Tide. We were stunned. I should have had Harrison on for this show, honestly. I should have really grabbed him on. But anyway, my Alabama Crimson Tide, they disappointed me. I was quite furious with their performance against Texas A&M of all places, and they lost. And I guess we came back down to reality a little bit like that because it really does seem like the college football, national championship is wide open this year. I mean, Georgia seems like the real deal. And honestly, I was, me being a Crimson Tide fan, I was like, nobody's beating the Crimson Tide this year. I had questions concerning our defense, and our defense does seem noticeably softer this year, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Cody, you could touch more on this. I'm a little heartbroken still about the Alabama Crimson Tide loss, to be honest with you.
Look, the thing that Alabama fans shouldn't worry about is getting into the college football playoff, right? This team absolutely still has a path to get to the college football playoff, and it's very straightforward. You go to the SEC championship, you play Georgia, you beat Georgia, you get into the college football playoff. It's that simple, right? Now, you need to take care of business between now and then, but their schedule's pretty favorable outside of Auburn and Bo Nix, which is going to need, quite frankly, some very spectacular play out of Bo Nix. Alabama should be fine. So the question is who's left sitting at the top of the college football totem pole when all this dust settles, right? Is Georgia going to run the table? Because if they beat Alabama, I think Alabama might be out with 2 losses, right? So then there are quite a few teams in the Big Ten that are really going to make a push. Iowa's in the top 10 or in the top 4 right now, but you have 5-1 Penn State, 5-1 Ohio State, 6-0 Michigan, 6-0 Michigan State. Like, there's a lot that needs to be settled in the Big Ten. And then you have Cincinnati, which I hate to say this because I know we have a lot of Cincinnati fans that follow TWSN. I don't think they get in. I really do not think they get in. I think they could go undefeated. I think they could run the table. UC has had the worst possible things that could happen for them happen, and that's Notre Dame looks terrible. They needed Notre Dame to be a top 10-ish team this year if they wanted to get in. Notre Dame stinks. The early game in the year against IU won, a good handful of games last year. They're not going to make a bowl game this year. They stink. So there's going to be a lot that shakes up from what we currently have in our top 10, a ton, and I can't wait for it.
Jake, we'll let you finish this off.
Yeah, he's right. And this is the most jam-packed I think we've seen the top 10 or at least the top 7 or 8 in a while. Over the course of, I guess, last couple of years, it's been, A undefeated team or A undefeated 1-loss conference champion is in, and B undefeated 1-loss conference champion is in, and then we get a real debate for 4 and 5, even though we know the 4 has no chance at beating the 1 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But now it kind of does. I think Georgia's clearly the best, and we're gonna probably still see Georgia Bama play twice this year, once in the SEC title game and once in the national championship. Those I think are still the 2 best teams in the country. But Bama's rated at 5 very fairly because they lost. So then you forgot about Oklahoma. If Oklahoma runs the table, goes undefeated, it seems like they really figured themselves out in the second half against Texas. A bunch of craziness that's going to happen in the Big Ten over the next couple weeks. They're all going to kind of beat themselves. But if one of them goes undefeated, let's say Ohio State wins out and there's one loss Ohio State and one loss Iowa, with their only loss coming to Ohio State. Iowa also having a win over Penn State. It's absolutely madness. I for sure think Cincinnati is the team looking outside in that scenario. Just their schedule, they haven't played anyone. They didn't play anybody last year. They thought, we're going to play Notre Dame. We have that coming up on our schedule, and they look terrible. So Cincinnati is on the outside looking in for sure, but Ohio State can still get in. Penn State can still get in. They still play Michigan and Ohio State too, so they can still get in. Michigan, obviously, Michigan State, and then of course Oklahoma and Alabama.
So guys, we want to keep the conversation going. This week of college football isn't as exciting as we were talking about before the show as last week's was, and maybe that's a good thing for my team. But want to keep it going. Anyway, moving over to the NFL. This was a very interesting week in the National Football League. All the while we can usually come on here and we talk about the games, we talk about who impressed, who didn't impress. We had a coaching change already, and no, it was not Urban Meyer. It was not Urban Meyer. The John Gruden has resigned as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders after some emails were leaked, so to speak. And the crazy thing is, it wasn't even an investigation into him. It was an investigation into John Snyder and the Washington football team's organization. And, someone said this to me, and I saw it a bunch on Twitter as well. Remember, it's an owners driven league. This is an owners league, so to speak. Owners are going to look out for the owners. They said somebody had to be the fall guy. And I won't necessarily look at it as the fall guy, because at the same time, if you're in a position of leadership, you should hold yourself to a higher standard than that. Before we jump, into pretty much where the Raiders go from here, what were you guys' thoughts on the John Gruden situation? The Buccaneers, the fallout from that. The Buccaneers have dismissed him from their Ring of Honor as well, and essentially his football legacy has been tarnished. Something that I did not expect to happen in 2021 was John Gruden's football legacy to be tarnished, but here we are. Daniel, let's start us off there.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, right? You hate to hear that in the organization. You hate to hear that with the team. And I know many former players, one of them slipping my mind, but came out on social media or on live television, just ripped into him.
Keyshawn Johnson, yeah.
Ripped into John Gruden. And it goes to show how players, and even if we look back at the Antonio Brown situation, I'm not going to say Antonio Brown was right in any way, but maybe there was underlying issues with the organization. Maybe people weren't seeing it. Maybe there were issues where it's almost like in a team, if something's going bad, a player is never going to win over the head coach. A player is never going to win over the GM, over the owner. And that's partially what we saw. So, I mean, I'm happy that it came out, and I'm happy that the truth is out, that we see what really happened. But it's just sad that this had to happen. You don't ever want something like this in an organization. You don't want 53 guys relying on a head coach and them going behind their backs and saying terrible things, them pushing an agenda within an organization. So it's terrible that it happened, but I'm just glad that the truth is out.
I think I've seen a lot of that. The whole Antonio Brown thing was right. A lot of people have been saying that a lot. Listen, this is to me. This isn't something that I'm in no way saying that that's what anyone on this panel is doing, but to me, this isn't a moment where anyone should necessarily be celebrating. It's unfortunate that this happened. The things that were said in that email, people are saying, "Oh, we're a soft society." Listen, it's one thing to say it, when you're to screw up when you're 17, 18, whatever the case may be. It's another thing to screw up when you're 40-something years old. These emails, people said, "Oh, that happened a decade ago." No, the emails go all the way back to 2018 when he became the head coach of the Raiders, right? It also it complicates things when you have the first openly active gay NFL player on your roster at the time. How does that message resonate with them? It goes so much deeper than just, oh, it's locker room talk. That's just shit that just can't happen in today's National Football League. I don't understand how people are so fickle and so small-minded to not understand why it's a big deal and why we've tried to come so far as a society, right? I like to think that we aren't what we used to be, 10, 15 years ago. There's a reason why this had a response the way it did. And yes, Hunter, Carr's response was amazing. Love the man, hate the sin, and it's true. But no one should be defending this, right? It's an egregious act. It's a terrible act from somebody that's in leadership. You just can't do it, right? You just can't do it no matter what organization you're a part of. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and this is the way the world works, right? In 2021. But this really, because this didn't come through Adam Schefter. It didn't come through Jay Glazer. It didn't come through any of those guys. It came from the New York Times. And frankly, this feels like someone like wanting to get John Gruden out for whatever reason. But like at the end of the day, what's John Gruden's equity with the league? Like, it's not like he's an elite coach. It's not like he brings in all these dollars for the Raiders and people might argue, oh, but you can't go 10 years back. That's not fair. It doesn't matter. It's over, and that's just how it is, frankly. But, like, again, it's not like John Gruden doesn't have any equity with the league, and quite frankly, like, it's done. Like, this happened.
Yeah, you can be exactly like you are exactly who you can afford to be, and you cannot afford to lack integrity in the NFL, especially in today's NFL, right? Football is for everybody. It's one of my favorite things about football is you can watch it with anybody. You can enjoy it with anybody. It's a beautiful sport, right? Not everybody gets the privilege to play it. Certainly not everybody gets to play it at the professional level. Yeah. And absolutely not everybody gets to coach it at the professional level. It's a privilege. Right. And you have to hold up to that privilege, right? Now, that being said, there's a lot of issues in the NFL. This is going to be the first thing that comes out of what apparently seems like is going to be quite a bit. I don't think John Gruden is the last tree to fall from this issue, but I think he might be the largest. That being said, this investigation is still ongoing. There's still going to be stuff that comes out. My hope is that for the Raiders and everybody in that Raiders organization, they, can move up, move on, and get it figured out, right? And I think it serves as a reminder for everybody in the NFL that you have to take yourselves like seriously. The world, it's the most watched sport in America. Your eyes are going to be on you. Yeah. And whether that's good, people say, well, if you went through anybody's email they're not going through anybody's email. They're going through NFL the coaches and everything. Like, that is the standard that they are held to. If you're not held to that standard at your workplace, that's your workplace's problem. That's not, you know what I mean? The NFL is trying to become better. And I think we need to applaud that, but we still have a lot of progress to make.
So I want to keep the conversation moving. This brings me to my next point. I had put a tweet up, guys, on Twitter, and I said, I have a feeling, call it a gut reaction, call it whatever you want, but I said I had a feeling that Eric Bieniemy would be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And a lot of people were in favor of that tweet. A lot of people agreed with what I said. Then you had some people who brought up his off the field issues from his past, guys. And I say when it's past, and I say it's past. And it seems to be that seems to be like a topic of discussion quite early. And, it's funny. A lot of people hear stuff in the media and they just run with it. They don't even know what they're talking about. With me having various contacts inside the league, I kind of know what sort of went down with the Eric Bieniemy situation and why he isn't, a head coach in the league, or at least I feel like I have a very good grasp of it. But a lot of other people are just talking and just saying things that just don't make sense, to be completely honest with you. And some of the things that I've heard was he's a bad interviewer. That's one thing I heard. He bombed one interview, guys. Let's start there. He bombed one interview. Another thing that I heard is he isn't a good speaker. Anybody who's ever listened to Eric Bieniemy talk in an interview, he has literally blown you away with how personal he gets with his players and how he understands his players. And then the next thing I hear is it's his off the field stuff. And I'm like, all right, so you mean to tell me we're judging someone, right? We're judging someone off of things that happen 10, 15, in some instances 20 years ago. That seems really, really shallow. And other things that I hear as well are he doesn't call plays. That's another thing that I hear. Well, I got news for you. The other two assistants that came from under Andy Reid that are head coaches in the National Football League, well, one of them isn't, but one of them won a Super Bowl, didn't call plays either. Andy Reid has called plays everywhere that he's been. And if he didn't call plays where he was, it was chances are because it was a preseason game or something like that. You know, having the fact that my brother, was dorm roommates with his son at Temple when we went to a great deal of Eagles games, and he became very good close friends with Reid's son as well. I can assure you, Andy Reid has always called plays. He's always called plays where he was at. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to debunk right off the bat. But just jumping into it, we talk about how, you know, you can't be a head coach. And I see some people say that sometimes. You can't be a head coach and have off the field problems. Well, that brings up a lot of questions for me. So Cody and Jake and Daniel and Aidan, I'm going to ask you guys some names. I mean, I want to know your initial thoughts of these plays. And listen, this is not to out people. That's not what this is about. It's to debunk the Eric Bieniemy has off the field issues. That's why he's not a head coach thing. So let's start. Mike Vrabel, what do you guys think of him?
Decent good NFL coach.
Right?
Good.
Jake,
Not great, good.
Mike Vrabel?
Yeah.
Good coach.
What do you think of Kyle Shanahan?
Elite coach.
What do you think of Kyle Shanahan, Cody?
Great coach.
Oh, okay. Jim Harbaugh, you know, the coach that took the Niners to multiple NFC championships. What do you guys think of him? Good?
Good coach.
Okay. John Gruden, Jay Gruden, right? You guys know them. They've had success in the NFL. We obviously just spoke about John Gruden, but John Gruden won 2 Super Bowls. Jay Gruden was the head coach of the Washington football team, now known as that. All those people that I just named have an arrest record. All those people that I just named have an arrest record. And some of them multiple in instances. Multiple. And I have them for you. So, Jake, you don't have to research. I have them for you because I know you're probably Googling.
I'm not researching right now.
Mike Vrabel's last arrest was in 2011 for theft. He was arrested in 1990 for him and his friend jumping someone outside of a bar. Okay? Jim Harbaugh, multiple DUIs. John Gruden, another DUI. Jay Gruden, DUI. Kyle Shanahan, intoxicated, disorderly conduct. Are you guys getting the gist of what I'm saying? Coaches should not be judged, right? Like one of my favorite Bible scriptures, it says, "Like who without sin, cast the first stone." You shouldn't be judging someone off of things that happened, necessarily in their past, and be like, okay, that's a reason why they're not a head coach. Because at that point, and it always happens with Eric Bieniemy, and I take this very, very personal because to me, it seems like we're nitpicking. We're looking for the perfect candidate for a job. But when people say Eric Bieniemy has off the field issues, do we even know what that means? Okay, well, let's talk about it. Eric Bieniemy, he got arrested in 1988 for a bar fight where he fought a guy, and it seems like the guy got the better of him apparently, but he got arrested for disorderly conduct for fighting out in public. He then got arrested in 1990 for interfering with a firefighter trying to put out fire at his mom's home because it was something of value that his mom left inside and he wanted to grab it. Keeping it going. He was arrested in 1990 for driving with a suspended license. With a suspended license. 1993, this is serious. He allegedly harassed a female parking attendant. No charges were ever filed. He was suspended from the university. Mind you, these were all when he was still a player. He was suspended for the university for a year. Couldn't be on campus. And then in 2001, which was his last run-in with the law, he had a DUI. I bring all those up, guys, because I really want us to eliminate from our verbiage, Eric Bieniemy has off-the-field issues, because I hear a lot of people say that a lot of time, and sometimes I feel like they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Listen, this man has been a focal point of some of the best offenses we've seen in the NFL. Some of the best. His players love him. People rave about him. Other coaches rave about him. Did he bomb an interview? Yes. But when did he bomb that interview? Coming off of a Super Bowl. Let's be careful when we throw stones at people. Let's be careful when we just spew things that we hear other people say. Because the fact of the matter is, Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach because there are people probably that don't want Eric Bieniemy to be a bad coach, and it seems like that's the easiest thing for the public to jump at. The fact of the matter is, I personally believe the man should be a head coach in the National Football League. I personally believe we should cut the bullshit out, right, and call a spade a spade. At the end of the day, the National Football League has a long way to go. We've made strides, but we have a long way to go. There are three African American head coaches in the National Football League right now, and it's 32 jobs. There are people getting fired every single year for poor performances. Adam Gase was a head coach in the National Football League.
Not once, twice.
Twice.
All right.
Freddie Kitchens. You want to talk about that? Freddie Kitchens was a head coach in the National Football League. Okay? Josh McDaniels turned down multiple jobs in the National Football League, even one so where he had a team thinking he was going to sign there. Don't tell me about bombing interviews. If the man can coach, if the man's a player's coach, if the players believe in him, give him an opportunity. Let's stop with the bullshit. Cody, go ahead.
Look, I mean, again, you are who you can afford to be. I think Eric Bieniemy, look, the stuff that happened in his past, that has not stopped less qualified coaches from becoming coaches. I think Eric Bieniemy will be a head coach in this league this offseason. There are going to be plenty of teams who get rid of their head coach, not just the Raiders. I think he would be a great fit in Chicago with Justin Fields. I think Fields needs an offensive-minded coach. I think Bieniemy would be a great fit there. That being said, you said it before. It's an owner's league. It don't matter how good you are at your job. If that owner don't like you, don't worry about applying because you ain't gonna get the gig anyway, right? And that's just how it is. It sucks that's how. And a lot of these owners, and you can tell by the franchises, are very, very bad at their jobs. They're very bad at their jobs. But hey, guess what? They got a lot of money. They get to make the decisions. It's typically how it goes in the real world. Welcome to it. But Shad Khan has made terrible decision after terrible decision after terrible decision since the Jaguars entered the NFL. Like there are franchises that will continually make bad decisions. I think not hiring Eric Bieniemy is a bad decision that, guess what? Bad owners will continue to make. And that's their loss.
We didn't even get – and Cody, I didn't even get into Jim Irsay's multiple DUIs, who's an owner. I didn't get into Steve Keim, who's a general manager, who literally representing an organization. So let's stop nitpicking. Let's stop the BS. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he deserves to be head coach. He's the offensive mind, and he's gotten interviews. So I think he deserves, and I think he will get a shot. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it'll be next year. His track record shows he deserves a shot and should get a shot. But, like, at the same time, like, if you look at this past year, some of the hires, Brandon Staley, I know he interviewed for that job. Maybe the Chargers like Staley more. It's showing this year. Maybe the Lions just like Dan Campbell. He deserves a job, but I understand some of the organizations where they go with certain head coaches.
I'm specifically saying because I know for a fact, right? I know for a fact that an organization was interested in him. And because they didn't like his answers, he even had his staff ready, just so you know. He even had his staff ready. It's because they didn't like his answers necessarily in that one interview. They held it against him. It's BS. And again, a lot of people talk. They don't know what they're talking about, though. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I actually have been on the record of saying I never got the buzz on Bieniemy.
Yeah, you've been very critical of him. You have been.
I still don't get it, and I will very respectfully debunk your thing about the Andy Reid coaching tree, because here's the Andy Reid coaching tree. It is it's very impressive. He has a very, very good coaching tree. Mm-hmm. If you're a defensive coach, which Eric Bieniemy is not. John Harbaugh, defensive coach. Ron Rivera, defensive coach. Sean McDermott, defensive coach. Leslie Frazier, defensive coach. Todd Bowles, defensive coach. Here are the offensive coaches. Doug Peterson, who never called plays under Andy Reid. Won a Super Bowl. Had a very good roster and coached his mind off. And there were reasons why people did not.
They signed 18 free agents that year as well.
There were a lot of reasons why people did not like the Doug Peterson hire, and he was not good in year one. And year two, Wentz was out of his mind, and the defense was playing really well, and they won a Super Bowl. But Doug Peterson got fired 2 years later. And Brad Childress, who had a 1 good year with Minnesota and otherwise wasn't a head coach the rest of his life. And then there's Matt Nagy, who also never called plays under Andy Reid. So if you're a defensive coach, and all 6 of those guys, Harbaugh, Rivera, McDermott, or 5, Frazier and Bowles, they all called plays with Andy Reid on the defensive side of the ball, and they are all amazing.
Jake, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What are you debunking? You said you're debunking my theory when I literally said no
about not calling plays because I'm saying
we're not talking about defensive players. We're talking about specifically offensive players.
I know
Eric Bieniemy's on the offense, right? So let's stay on task here. Eric Bieniemy's on the offensive side of the football. I said there are things that people saying they don't know if he's qualified because he doesn't call plays. Well, I clearly
I don't care about that. No, I'm just saying there's a history. No, I'm just saying that there's a history of Andy Reid's offensive assistants not working out in the NFL, and maybe one of those reasons why is because, one, they were just never that good anyways because Reid was calling plays, so we wanted guys who, connected with the players and were smart personnel-wise, but really didn't need to call plays. When they became head coaches and needed to call plays, maybe they weren't that good. So that's a reason. That is not my main reason. My main reason is, what is special about Eric Bieniemy? Because one of the reasons
special about Doug Peterson.
No, listen. And Doug Peterson got fired.
And Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm saying is in these interviews, he last year he was interviewed. In January, it came out that he was interviewed for every single opening. It later was reported in February that he did not interview with Philadelphia. So that's it. So we know we can assume that he interviewed with everyone else. Why is it that 35-year-old phenom Brandon Staley comes in and takes that job? Why does Robert Saleh come in and take that job? Why did David Culley come in and take that Houston job? Because I'm not sitting here and saying that
he didn't interview for this job. They were interested in him. He turned that job down.
I know.
So what?
Then what's the point of mentioning him?
Head coach?
Wait. If he turned it down, then why are we complaining he's not a head coach?
Jake,
if he's too good for Houston, then why is he not a head coach?
Look at this set. Look what the setting was in Houston. Look at this setting.
So why are we complaining?
The setting was in Houston. We're not.
He got offered a job.
I'm saying no. He wasn't offered a job. He was offered to interview for them. But guess what? He was told by several people, "Hey, maybe that's not the job." David Culley was the wide receivers coach for the.
You're right, and David Culley is completely
and the only damn person who would have took the job. So what you're saying right now makes zero sense.
You're right. He's completely unqualified. But my point is, constantly he has been overlooked for these jobs because these guys have come in and just taken it. So I'm not saying I know the guy. I've never talked to him. You've never talked to him. What is so special about him that right now you can tell me he should 1,000% be a head coach? Because the Chiefs offense.
I've actually spoke to him once at the combine. But
okay,
I'm trying to figure out. I'm
trying
to figure out what is your gripe? What is your gripe about him becoming a head coach? You literally just said
I don't.
Hold on. You literally just sat up here and told me that he doesn't deserve to be. You don't see the.
No, I never said.
I understand where he comes from, though.
No,
how do you not?
I never once said he did not deserve it. He has been in a room. He has been in a room for 4 years with the greatest play caller in the history of sport and the most talented quarterback ever. I have never once said he does not deserve it. I said I can understand why he's not. There is a difference. I've tweeted once about Eric Bieniemy. I did not say that he does not deserve.
We'll talk offline about that.
And if I said that, I did not mean it. I have never. I don't believe that he does not deserve. I have said that I understand why he has constantly been overlooked. He has been in the room with the greatest play caller in the history of the sport and the most talented quarterback to ever play the history of the sport. I can understand why he is getting overlooked for jobs because I can understand why teams and owners might think that there's not anything special with him.
I get where you're coming from, Jake. I really do. I mean, if you look at Adam Gase, was the offensive coordinator of one of the most dynamic offenses in the history of the sport.
Adam Gase was the quarterback whisperer, for God's sake.
Yeah.
He took a chance and it failed.
But isn't that the thing with pretty much every single coach that you're interested in? You don't know that these guys are going to pan out. And you've been kind of quiet over there. They've been talking a lot. I want to hear you speak.
All right. Yeah. So, look, I think Eric Bieniemy absolutely deserves a shot. And I know he hasn't been calling plays, but and I know the history with the offensive coaches, offensive assistants like Eric Bieniemy in the Andy Reid tree haven't exactly panned out, but I think Andy Reid's a great guy to learn from. He's one of the best offensive play callers of all time. And Eric Bieniemy, we talk about this is a player's coach. That's one of the biggest things I'm looking for in a head coach. Because although they know X's and O's to a different degree in situational football, that's all important. But a guy who can connect with the players and get those guys to buy into their philosophies and play hard week in and week out, that's one of the most important things. And Eric Bieniemy, I'm pretty confident that he can do that. So he absolutely deserves a shot. And, going back to the Houston thing, yeah, he just turned that job down. That's a terrible job for a head coach to take. So yeah, he turned that down. And then there were other qualified candidates. Brandon Staley, Robert Saleh were also.
Well, I just want to. I want to clarify something about the Eric Bieniemy turning down the Houston Texans job. Let's be careful about something. He turned down the interview, and the reasoning is because could he salvage the Deshaun Watson situation? That was the whole situation. Deshaun Watson had made it very known that
he was done.
He was done with the Houston Texans, right? So every coach that pretty much was even considered, even looked at for the Houston Texans job, felt like almost as if the job was like you were being a placeholder. It was who was willing to be a placeholder for the next coach, essentially,
which still is.
Still is. That's why there is the expectations for David Culley was what they were, and he was pretty much expected to. We needed somebody to coach the Houston Texans this year, simply. Yeah. And that's why Eric Bieniemy's like, okay, well, your franchise quarterback wants out. You need somebody to coach Houston Texans this year. I'm not touching that. I'd rather not. And plus, they also wanted to control. He wanted roster control as well, and they wouldn't give that to him.
Yeah.
Danny, I want to talk to you because you've been kind of quiet over there.
No, I mean, like, I get where Jake's coming from. It makes sense. Like, you look at each specific job. The New York Giants, you could look at Joe Judge. I don't remember if Eric Bieniemy did interview for that job.
They didn't interview him. They went straight to pretty much Joe Judge.
Okay. Maybe they wanted Joe Judge. I know he interviewed for the Lions head coaching job. Maybe they just wanted Dan Campbell. Maybe they wanted that hoorah type of guy. I don't know. You don't know. That could be a reason why. I think he deserves a shot. He does. But I'm not like
guys. Let's also not forget the Rooney Rule, where they literally you literally have to interview a minority coach as a part of the qualification. So some of these guys are being interviewed and they're not even being given a true opportunity in these interviews. So let's cut the bullshit out.
Yes, because the Rooney Rule is stupid.
It's stupid.
It's so stupid.
But sometimes people already have their coaches in mind who they want to hire, like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody and their mom knew that they wanted to hire Urban Meyer. They reached out to Eric Bieniemy. They reached out to nobody. I'm not going to be your prototypical poster boy for you to interview me just to pass a qualification. That's bullshit. It's the same thing that the Cowboys did to Marvin Lewis. The same exact thing.
But hold on. The Jaguars is a perfect example. All of us could say Eric Bieniemy was way better for that job than Urban Meyer. But maybe they just wanted to pair Urban Meyer with their quarterback. Maybe that's the way.
That's pretty much what I'm saying, Daniel. That's what I'm saying. Like they already knew that they wanted Urban Meyer, so the interview was not serious. It was a tongue-in-cheek thing. It was like, okay, we interviewed you. Okay, what are your qualifications? Okay, then boom, you're gone. Like that's what it was, and that's what a lot of these interviews are. That's why what a lot of these coaches are talking about. Now I'm pretty sure the Jaguars were like, damn, I wish we had Eric Bieniemy at this point, or someone else at this point, because look what you got. That's the point of what I'm saying. The same thing with Freddie Kitchens and the damn Cleveland Browns. Like,
there are tons of coaches that get hired that aren't qualified, and it's because of who they know, and it's because of ownership, and it's the whole 9 yards. You can't tell me that quarterback coach Zach Taylor deserved a head coaching gig after the Rams went to the Super Bowl.
We're not getting into that.
Absolutely not. Okay? You can't tell me that there are a ton of coaches that don't deserve the head coaching gigs that they got. You see how it turns out, right? Good coaches are good coaches. Eric Bieniemy, if he is a good coach, he will end up getting a job and he will end up succeeding. And a lot of people are going to be very upset. But guess what? There is a ton of terrible, terrible ownership in the NFL that is not good at picking winning football. It's why the Bengals have not won a playoff game since 1990. And it's why the Steelers continually knock at the door year after year after year. Ownership is the difference. It matters. It's why the Browns have stunk forever. It's why the Jaguars have stunk forever. It's why the Texans have stunk their entire existence since they came into the league. It's why the Rams needed Stan Kroenke to buy the team to get them out of St. Louis where they stunk all the way. The last time they were decent was the greatest show on turf, right? Ownership matters when it comes to winning, when it comes to coaching hires, and the whole 9 yards. And if Eric Bieniemy is a good coach, a good owner will hire him when that time is right.
And Jake, he will get a job.
Here's the thing, Cody. Here's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing with me per se. Nobody should be out here just saying anything at this point in time because we haven't seen the man in a head coaching job position to say that he's bad or he's good or he's not qualified. Whereas I see some people on Twitter pointing to his off the field issues. If you don't know what the hell you're talking about, please shut up. So at the end of the day, that's how I feel about the situation. We're moving on. We're going to go on to our week 6 predictions. Aidan, the floor is yours at this point.
All right, yeah. So we're gonna start off with Thursday Night Football here. Buccaneers at Eagles. Want to keep the easier ones quick. So Jake, you can start us off as the new member of the Game Changers.
Let me get the slates pulled up. All right, guys. My predictions is Chargers Ravens is obviously the game.
We're doing game by game. We're doing game by game.
Wait, sorry, I don't know what that was. Sorry. Obviously, something played in my ear. Chargers Ravens is the game of the week. I don't know why the Ravens are favored. Chargers are a lot better. I expect them to go into Baltimore and win that game. That is my bold prediction, I guess, if we do that here. Bold predictions for the week. Anyways, so I think the Chargers are a Super Bowl team. I've been hesitant to say that for a couple of weeks, but I saw it with Cleveland. The way Staley has came in and just reshaped this team, and I don't think they're the old Chargers anymore. This is a completely new team with one of the best rosters in the league, and a very, very at this point elite quarterback in Justin Herbert. What Justin Herbert was doing at Oregon, by the way, like Mario Cristobal should be charged with malpractice for what Justin Herbert did in his years at Oregon. That was just completely so dumb. But anyways,
Jake, you do know we're talking about Eagles Bucks right game.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I just
we do game by game predictions. This is the rookie on the
I didn't
show.
know that. You should have stopped me way earlier. Oh no, Bucks.
What are your thoughts on the Thursday night game?
Oh, why did no one stop me earlier? Now I look like a fool.
You do.
Yeah, we knew.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, you said okay. Now I'm the clown. All right, something was playing.
I told you you'd rule the day. I told you to rule the day.
All right, that's fair. No, that's completely fair. Something was playing in my ear, so like I guess I didn't hear that, but the Bucs offense, they're the best offense in the league, man. Like they're so good. I don't think they're gonna go back to Super Bowl, but their offense is a no. Well, why didn't anyone stop me? Come on, man.
You're the clown, Jake.
Come on. I'm the clown. All right, Bucs roll them.
Yes,
Bucs minus 7.5.
Okay, Cody.
Yeah, I'm on the same side as Jake here. Bucks minus 7. That roster is just infinitely better than the Eagles.
Malik.
So, Jake, typically how this works, Aidan, is Malik always goes last because it's Malik. But no, I'm actually a little weary about this game. Let me tell you why. Tom Brady's had an issue with his thumb all week. I also saw the defense. I saw that team against the I saw that team against a defense in the Patriots, and it seemed like Tom Brady looked a little lost in the red zone without Rob Gronkowski, to me at least. I'm not going to be foolish and say the Eagles. That's not what I'm going to do. But I am going to say that this feels and smells like it could be a trap game potentially, especially dealing with all the injuries that they have. Antoine Winfield is out. The Bucs do not have good corners right now. Yes, he is. Their starting cornerback is Richard Sherman, and I think Jamel Dean. No, Jamel Dean is pretty good.
Jamel Dean's hurt.
He's still hurt.
All three of them are hurt.
I have serious questions, and to me, not to mention Levante David is out for weeks. Yep. He's out for weeks, so they're down some bodies. I'd be very, very careful betting this game. I've been pretty spot on when it comes to being careful about certain games and stuff like that. This is a game I'd be very, very careful with. I expect this to be a nail biter towards the end, a lot like the Patriots Buccaneers game. I expect a field goal to win it at the end for the Patriots, and it's in Philly. By the way, I'm pretty sure Philly's record on Thursday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken, someone can check this for me. I think in the last like 8 maybe 9 years, something like that, they might be undefeated. Just saying that at home.
I'm not sure, but this game does kind of feel like that Giants Buccaneers, I believe, it was a Monday Night Football game last year that served as a trap game for this Bucs team. The Giants really shocked them. I believe the Giants won that game, or it was at least a close one. But Daniel, round us out.
Giants choked that game. They choked it away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the complete same mindset. Levante David, Antoine Winfield, no cornerbacks, Gronk's hurt, Brady's hurt. It's going to be a close game, and the Eagles aren't going to be able to run the ball. Not like they've tried to run the ball much. I think it's going to be a close game. Jalen Hurts has a great game here. I think it's a one possession game, but I'm still taking the Bucs.
8-3, by the way, all time at home Thursday Night Football.
Not too shabby.
Yep.
All right. So
8-3 all time, 17-6, no matter where it's at, but 8-3 at home. It's pretty solid.
The London game.
Tom Brady doesn't do well against the Eagles last night. Played them.
Okay, we don't have to.
That's rough. That's rough.
Aiden's out here like, man, that was the worst part of 8th grade.
That was, you know what? We didn't have to do there.
Oh, Malik, that was in kindergarten when that happened. Good.
You got jealous of my youth, but moving on to the London game, we got the Dolphins and Jaguars. Daniel, start us off here.
Everyone's on the Jaguars for this game, even though they're underdogs. I'm seeing a lot of people saying Jaguars in London. Dolphins are a crapshoot. If Tua comes back, even with Jacoby Brissett, he's looked okay. They've looked good. Their defense has gotten shredded, but they played the Buccaneers, and I don't think the Jaguars' offense is anywhere near the Buccaneers' caliber. So I think the Dolphins win this one. I think that they have the better talent on their team, and it's in London. Anything can happen, and I'm taking the Dolphins in this one.
Jake, I'll let you chime in.
Watching this game, the word talent should be out of your vocabulary. There's almost no talent on either team.
That's completely false.
These are like two of the 4 worst teams in football.
Xavier Howard's got a talent.
How's he been this year?
Xavier Howard is still a talent. Trevor Lawrence, Marvin Jones.
Obviously, there's talented players. Like, come on, Dan, come on. But the Dolphins, people thought they were going to be a playoff team, and they are just so far from that. This is a terrible roster, and we still don't know if Brian Flores is a good coach. People were wanting to put him in the Hall of Fame for going 9-7 2 years in a row. And now he has a worse team that has just been unable to hit on first-round picks for 2 consecutive years. So Jaguars win. I'm getting the better quarterback. They're due for one. Trevor's been clicking. Neutral site. They've been in London before. A lot of the players on that roster have know the time difference. There's not many, but there's a couple. So I'm just at this point I'm just fading Miami. They haven't figured it out on the defense, and they can't score points either. So that's just a mix for disaster. And Jaguars are due for a win.
Cody,
I don't think the Jaguars are due for anything. Give me Miami.
All right, Malik.
Jaguars are home. They play some of the
At
most
home.
They're at home basically. They play in some of the most. I think they play in the most London games out of any team in the NFL. There was even rumors about them moving there at some point. The Jaguars. Yeah, they've gone to London 7 years in a row. I know this is the home game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to win this game. I just think that at some point they're due. I like the strides that it's weird, man. I saw strides from Trevor Lawrence, and then it's like he falls off a cliff. Then you see strides again. Yeah, but I got the Jaguars. The Jaguars win this game.
Yes, this is a game I'd stay away from, but I am going to take the Miami Dolphins. Moving on to the Panthers, one of the better matchups of the week. Cody, I'll let you start off.
Yeah, look, I'm iffy on this game. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how I feel about it, but the line is weird. Just everything about this game is weird. I'm going to take the Panthers at home. I don't like that the Vikings are favored on the road. I would love to see Kirk Cousins road home splits, but give me the Panthers here.
They're good.
I don't like this game. I don't like it. Ugh. Panthers.
If this makes you feel better, your twin brother is going to be back in the lineup apparently. Christian McCaffrey. Come on now.
Yeah, a little CMC action.
Little CMC, let's go.
Daniel.
Give me my boys. Give me the Vikings, man. Listen, their defense, Danielle Hunters look great. Their linebackers, they finally got them back. Anthony Barr's healthy. Eric Hendricks is healthy. Their offense is great too. Their offense is rolling, and against a a team where Sam Darnold hasn't looked as good the past 2 weeks. I think this is going to be a completely tight-knit game or very close game, and it's going to go down the wire. I'm taking the Vikings, though.
Almost sounds like Jake every single week taking the Colts every single week, no matter what. Jake just blindly picks the Colts every single week.
Well, I'm not. First off, I'm not blindly picking this game.
I'm not. I'm just literally making
Malik,
the reference at Jake.
Malik,
yeah.
Do you want to make a wager?
I don't want to make a wager with you, Jake.
Let's make a friendly wager live on the show.
No wager.
I guarantee you the Colts win the division.
Bad.
All right. I give you your pink slip if they don't. I'm joking. A steak. Sure, why not? A burro steak.
And you do owe me lunch, Malik, after Daniil Hunter did get a sack week 1, but
it was on the tight end.
besides the point.
You said it was supposed to be on the tackle.
All right, so the wager's been placed.
Anyways.
Jake, do you have more wagers on this Vikings Panthers game, or
I do. I do. The Vikings are actually one of my favorite picks of the week. I know it's on the road, but I think this I really like this Carolina team going into the year. They have not impressed me against real competition. I didn't like them at all against Dallas. And that game was at home, right? They played Dallas at home, right? In week 4.
No, it was away.
I think
Yeah,
It was in Dallas.
in Jerry World.
Okay.
Are we gonna act like the Dallas Cowboys are not? We got to stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys as if they're not like one of the best teams in the league this year, and what their defense is.
They're the third best team in football right now, and I think they're going to make the Super Bowl.
Good teams win, great teams cover, undefeated against the spread.
Anyways, I love Minnesota here. Minnesota is a real team. They can play defense. They can really move the ball. Yeah, they had a stinker against Detroit, but Kirk Cousins has some of those games every single year. Very good at bouncing back. I like them to go on the road. They're better than the Panthers by more than a point for sure, I would say. Carolina's defense has not looked good the last 2 weeks, and you said that Donald hasn't either. That's because Donald is not that good anyways. He wasn't good in New York for more reasons than just Adam Gase. He hasn't been accurate this year.
Oh, yes, he has.
No, he hasn't. He's like the 17th highest graded quarterback. He has not. That offense has
Let's
not been
keep
good
this
when they needed to
conversation
pass.
moving, Aidan.
Without
Let's keep
McCaffrey.
the conversation moving. Give me the Panthers.
I'm going to go with the Vikings here. But, Jake, you can start us off with this Chargers-Ravens game since you were so eager earlier.
I love the Chargers-Ravens game. It's my game, man.
We're so eager to touch up on it earlier, so we'll let you start. I know you've been jumping at the bite on this one.
I'm gonna I'm gonna fade Baltimore here. Give me the Chargers. Better quarterback, maybe. They're very close. Herbert and Lamar are very close. Give me the better offense.
Can I ask you a question? Where do you rank Lamar Jackson?
I have him at 8. I have Lamar at 8 and Herbert at 10.
I put.
He didn't play like Lamar was not a top 10 quarterback last year. He didn't play like that at all. But anyways, I have Lamar at 8, respectively at 8. Herbert at 10. Herbert's probably 9 now. Stafford's 9 for me right now, and Herbert might be a lot better than Stafford in like 4 weeks. But give me the Chargers in this game. They're clicking on all cylinders, and Baltimore's back end of the defense has not looked good. They've been able to generate pass rush. Of course they are. They're Baltimore. They always generate pass rush. But back end of their defense has not looked sound, and you have to be on your game to stop this vertical Chargers attack. And I just don't think they're going to. And Chargers sure can get enough stops. The Colts did for sure on the road. They stopped them for 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters. And I don't think like it's gonna be much different. But Chargers will finish this game and they'll win.
Daniel, keep us rolling.
I'm taking the Ravens. The Chargers, I think that they're gonna have a little bit of a letdown game after, putting up 40-something points on the Browns. That was a high-scoring game. I think the Ravens do exactly what the Chargers struggle with. The Chargers can't stop the run. Right. They can't. Their secondary is good. They've got a great pass rush. They can't stop the run. And what do the Ravens do well? They run the ball. So I'm taking, we saw Nick Chubb run all over them. We saw Kareem Hunt run all over them. I think the Ravens do the same thing. It's a close game. It's in Baltimore. It's a 3-point game. I'm taking Baltimore, though.
All right, are we sure the Ravens are good at running the football? Because they did not run the football well.
Team, period.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
Okay, now
that.
here's I don't think they are. But If you look at that Ravens defense, they are hurt. That secondary is in shambles. They just let up 500 yards of offense to the 1-4 Indianapolis Colts.
Who Jake loves.
Future AFC South champions.
Future AFC South champions,
False.
Indianapolis Colts, right? The Chargers are going to shred that defense. Chargers.
Jake, the one thing I'll say though is if the Colts might be the best team in the NFL right now if they won every time you pick them. So just worth throwing out.
If the Colts won every time I've picked them,
they would be
really good.
Best team in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've picked them every week. I'm pretty sure that I've picked them every week.
You've at least picked them 4 weeks, but Malik, I'm gonna let you round.
No, because I know I picked them against the Rams, so I'm pretty sure I picked them every week.
Okay.
If you want my pick, subscribe to the TWSN Patreon.
And I'm
going to TWSN Patreon.
I'm going to take the Chargers, but we're going to move it on to Rams, Giants. Cody, you can start us off.
Yeah, Rams. That I don't know who's going to play quarterback for the New York Giants this year. Daniel Jones suffering that concussion. We'll see if he's eligible to return. Doesn't matter. Rams.
Daniel.
Easy. One of my best plays of the weekend. I'm putting it on the Patreon. I know Malik's going, wow. Giants, no Daniel Jones, no Saquon Barkley, no Kenny Golladay. Kadarius Toney's hurt. Sterling Shepard's hurt. Everyone's hurt on this team. Take the Rams plus 10 or minus 10 easy.
Jake?
Right now it's minus 10.5, and I don't like the hook, so I'm staying away from the spread. But yeah, the Rams will kill them for sure. They'll dominate the game.
And Malik.
Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams as well. Just far better football team. Too many injuries for the Giants. Keeping things rolling here, though. Colts in Texans. This one is in Indianapolis. I'm going to skip Jake. I already know who he's taking. Daniel, you can start us off.
Give me the Colts. The Colts are 1-4. They need this game bad. Carson Wentz looked good last week. Looked great last week. Give me the Colts.
Cody.
Colts. Texans stink. Davis Mills still not a good quarterback.
He looked good. Hold on. He looked good against the Patriots. He looked good.
He did.
He looked just as good as Mac Jones looked.
He did look good.
We talk about that whole Patriots defense. What, 350 passing yards? Davis Mills, really? That's his defense. That's going to take them to the playoffs.
Davis Mills looked really good on Sunday. It seems like he's finally playing within that. I think people are underestimating him, to be honest with you. So I think he's taking advantage of that. But I saw him make a throw that I don't know if there's any rookie quarterback that could make right now.
Trevor can.
Trevor can make the throw.
Trevor can.
It was a 62-yard bomb down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance can't do that?
Trey Lance can't throw a 15-yard dig. He throws it to the stands.
I know. Trey Lance.
Hold on. But
When the game slows down for Trey Lance, sure, we're gonna keep the conversation rolling, guys.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm taking the Colts, but Davis Mills did. I just wanted to debunk that. Davis Mills did look good on Sunday.
I want Trey Lance shooting half-court shots for me, not throwing accurate passes.
Okay, I'm going to take the Colts as well. But, Jake, you can start us off with Chiefs at Washington.
Love Washington here against the spread, plus 7.5. It's a good line until it moves. People love taking the Chiefs against the spread, and they just haven't covered since that. Again, I say the halftime of that Tampa game in the middle of the year, they have not looked like themselves. But they need a win. Like we're getting later in the year here, and that they're going to figure it out. They're going to get clicking, and should be where it starts, going on the road against a team that's struggling in their secondary so much this year. Like everyone was talking about this defense, this pass rush. They brought in William Jackson. He's been awful. And yeah, they've struggled to stop the passes this year. They struggled to stop the deep pass, down the field routes, and that's what the Chiefs do best. So yeah,
Cody,
Chiefs.
keep rolling.
Look, I've got a phenomenal play on this game that'll be on the Patreon, but it doesn't involve the money line or the spread. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Daniel?
Give me the Chiefs. Chiefs bounce back.
And Malik.
I was looking for the thing that I could post. I really, really, really wanted to post it. I'm not sure if I could find it, but I'm taking the Chiefs. But guys, can we just take a moment? Can I just take a moment just to say I told you so? That Chiefs defense.
The picket fence
stinks.
I don't.
Washington can't score.
Yeah. Listen, the offense is not the Chiefs' issue. And yet and still they keep
Well,
you
the
know, looking
turnovers are
for
bad.
this is them.
There
They
you
don't
go.
have a defense; they have a fence, and every single week, teams are running through their fence, like with no issue. Chris Jones was out this week, but I'm sure if he would have played, he would have. Steve Spagnuolo would have played him at defensive end again,
You're right.
like he always does every single week. To me, this Chiefs team is just awful, horrible, and if Washington can score can keep up with them in scoring wise and make a couple of stops defensively, Drewski meme. I don't know, but
I'm
the
gonna
Chiefs.
Chiefs for a bounce back win as well.
They need one.
Packers Bears. I'm gonna start this thing off with Daniel.
Give me the Packers. I know it's in Soldier Field or Soldier Field. I'm taking the Packers though.
Jake?
Bro, some of these comments on YouTube are wild. We'll continue.
Yeah, the Packers have really not looked like themselves. They're making a lot of mistakes.
He's getting
just-
blocked. I'm blocking this guy.
I just don't think the Bears are good enough to capitalize on. Like, look, since he should have beaten them, but since he's a better team, safe to say, than Chicago. I know since he lost them, but since he's a better team than Chicago. So give me Green Bay. They certainly have flaws. They're a team that I wouldn't be surprised if they won the NFC at this point. But I'm not there with Chicago yet. I know they're 3-2, but I think Green Bay is comfortably better than them. They have they really struggled in Soldier? Has Rodgers struggled in Soldier Field? Like, I know he struggled in other places, but has he really struggled in Soldier Field? I don't think so. But anyways, it's a 1 p.m. game. It's no primetime bias here. Just give me the Packers safe.
Cody, everybody so far seems Packers easily here, but this is a divisional game. You're not buying the Bears.
Aaron Rodgers as the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers is 21-5 against the Chicago Bears. Make it 22-5.
Look, I agree. I'm going the Packers easily here, but Malik, you're the last one. Tell us what you think here.
Subscribe to the TWSN betting Patreon to get my pick because the pick is the Packers.
Bengals at line. I'm going to start this thing off with Cody, Bengals fan himself. What do you think about this game?
This game scares me with just how wild last week was as a Bengals fan, the up and down, the back and forth to compete with Rodgers. The Lions, I love the Lions. I love Dan Campbell. I love the difference between the 0-5 Lions and the 0-5 Jags is astronomical. That being said, Houday, give me the Bengals on the road. This stretch, right? We play with the Packers. Now we need to beat the teams that we're going to beat or that we should beat. So we'll see. Give me the Bengals in this one.
Daniel?
Give me the Bengals. Joe Burrow, I believe, is playing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He'll be fine.
But
He
Joe
practiced
Burrow's
today.
there. They went to overtime with the Packers. Like this team is legit. They're a legit close to a playoff team right now. And the Lions, while the Lions play teams close, the Bengals win this one.
All right, Jake. What do you think?
God, I really hope I'm wrong, but I have to keep it real. This game scares the crap out of me. The Lions are so due. Like, they've been playing so well. The Bengals they have not been a good road team, man. And Malik, I know what you're gonna say because I know you think they should be 5-0 right now. I know you thought they should have been 7-0 after September, but I'm taking the Lions in this game, and I'm gonna be wearing my Joe Burrow jersey on Sunday. I'm gonna be cheering for them. I hope he goes for 400 yards on that defense, missing a lot of players, but it's on the road after an emotional game, overtime. Burrow is not like he's practicing this week, but scary. They're now on their third string right guard, and that's already a place that's been hurting them on offense. I'm taking the Lions at home, but I hope that you can clip this in 7 days and embarrass me for being wrong, because I don't want to see them fall to 3-3, because I do think that they're going to make the playoffs. And I think they're better than New England. I think they're better than Denver. I think they're better than Vegas. But right now, I'm taking the Lions. I'm sorry. And I hope I'm wrong.
Malik has to say about this. Just the look on his face.
Okay.
I hope
Romeo
I'm so wrong.
Quara. Hurt.
Yeah. Frank Ragnow.
I know. I know.
I'm not. No, this isn't for you. I don't even listen to you when you bag on the Bengals.
I love the Bengals.
In terms of cornerback play, the cornerbacks play is depleted. Frank Ragnow, their center, is out for the season.
Yes.
Taylor Decker's coming back this week. Yay! That means Penei Sewell won't get baptized like he got baptized last week. I'm not. I think Penei Sewell is still going to be a phenomenal player, but again, Trey Hendrickson has been one of the best pass rushers, the better pass rushers in the league this year. This Bengals defense is going to feast, to be completely honest with you, on Jared Goff. I think that the Lincoln Lions are a tough football team, but Quintus Cephas, who was coming on strong for the Lions, is now out with a broken hand or something like that as well. Listen, they've got a lot of issues right now with them. The Lions got a lot of issues right now with them, and I know we all want a feel-good story, and we're like, oh, yeah, the Lions are due for one and all that. They might be due for one, but this ain't the one. I think the Bengals offense is going to absolutely explode. Who covers Jamar Chase? Who covers T. Higgins? Who covers Tyler Boyd? I don't know. Who covers Joe Mixon?
To be fair, we
is
said
nothing
that
to be fair.
No. We said that about Green Bay.
We did.
No, we all. I guarantee. I'm sorry, I didn't listen to the show last week, but I guarantee you're always saying, "Oh, Burrow's gonna throw for 350." No, Jair, Kevin King sucks. A lot of people were thinking it, and they struggled again out of the gate. They struggled. They got ahead because of the defense, but eventually this defense is gonna get tired. Like they have been carrying this offense. This offense has not been good.
I hear you.
This offense has not been good.
Yep, we hear
it hasn't.
So as I'm saying,
how has this offense been good?
So I didn't say the offense has been good. I said I hear you.
Okay, they've been a bad offense.
Jake, you gave your take. We all understand you're a scared fan. We understand that. But what I'm saying is they're playing inside of a dome, right? I don't expect Evan McPherson to miss 3 kicks or however many kicks he missed again. I don't think it's going to come down to that, guys. Just to be completely honest with you, this isn't a game we should be talking about long. The Bengals are going to win this game.
Hope they do.
I agree. I'm going with the Bengals as well. But Jake, you know what? I know you know what. I was going to let you lead off Cardinals Browns, just one of the games of the week. If you would like to take the floor and continue to ride high off your emotions, you are welcome to do so.
I'm all over Cleveland, man. All over Cleveland in this game. This is my bet of the week. I subscribe to Patreon to see the other, but this is my bet of the week. Cleveland minus 2.5 until it gets to 3, until it gets to 4, because it will. Cleveland's very, very good. Their only 2 losses are absolute heartbreakers, but they're better than Arizona.
Daniel, any disagreements there?
No, man. Listen, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray's been great. They're 5-0. They're the only undefeated team in the league. This run game is going to have another field day. No one's stopping Nick Chubb. No one's stopping Kareem Hunt on that defense. Their cornerbacks are hurt. And while Baker has been bad, he hasn't been the elite number 1 quarterback that we're all looking for. Their running game's elite, and this defense is finally getting their groove. I know they just gave up a crap ton of points against the Chargers, but Myles Garrett's still a beast. This Cardinals offensive line isn't great. They're bottom 10 offensive line, bottom 15 offensive line in the league. Give me the Browns.
Cody.
This pick will be on the Patreon for me.
And Malik.
Patreon.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm going with the Browns here. I bought in on the Cardinals for them being a fully undefeated team. So I'm going to go with Cleveland as well. But Cowboys in New England here. Daniel, I'm going to let you start this one. Malik, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead, continue.
Oh, okay. So Cowboys in New England. Daniel, you're a Patriots fan. What do you think our team's going to do this week?
Oh, man. I want to say we're going to win, but listen, our Dak Prescott, Mac Jones, 2 completely different quarterbacks. Damian Harris might not play. I know we're getting offensive lineman back, but this is in New England?
Yes.
It's in New England. I still think this Cowboys offense is light years ahead of this Patriots offense. The defense looked bad against Davis Mills and the Texans. Give me the Cowboys -4. I love that.
Cody?
Yeah, give me the Cowboys. This game will not be as close as people think it is.
Jake?
Muted.
Jake, you muted.
Sorry. I'm going to disagree. I love the Cowboys more than the next person. I loved them at the beginning of the year. I said they were easily way better than Washington, closer to Green Bay than they are to Washington, and they have been playing amazing football. But again, going into New England, playing against a Bill Belichick defense, I think they're going to start slow. I do have the Cowboys in this game, but New England +4 looking very juicy. New England will keep this close. They'll keep it close, but Dallas will win.
I hope
they're better. Yeah,
I hope you're
they'll
right.
keep it close.
No. I'm going with Dallas in this game. Malik, though, I want you to round this out, and then maybe somebody can get to that fantasy question as well.
Yeah, so I got the Cowboys winning. Cody, you can jump right into the fantasy question.
Look, the Raiders have not been great against the pass so far this year. I think Cortland Sutton is due for some touchdown regression. He got the one last week. I think he's due, quite frankly. I think there are quite a few points scored in that game. I'm not a big fan of London games, quite frankly. And that being said, we talk about how that Dolphins team doesn't have a ton of talent. They do have some pretty good talented corners. So I'm not a fan of Marvin Jones or Laviska Shenault this week. So I'm starting Sutton over both of those guys.
Absolutely. And guys, I want to keep it going really quickly. I'm just going to have you, without explanation, just give your picks for these next upcoming games. We've got Raiders, the newly coached Raiders, traveling to Denver. Cody, who we got?
Give me the Denver.
Daniel?
Denver.
Jake?
Denver.
Aidan?
Raiders.
And
I don't hate it.
And I've got the Patreon pick. We've got Seahawks traveling to Pittsburgh Sunday Night Football. Cody. You know the answer, Cody. You know the answer. We've been through this before. You already know how we've seen this story unfold already. We know how.
Man, I love Geno Smith though. Man,
yeah,
I miss him.
I'm sure his mom loves Geno as well. But that don't mean she's picking her son to win this game. But Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Steelers.
Jake. Jake, give me your pick. Steelers, Seahawks. Let's go.
Seahawks.
In Pittsburgh. Okay. Aidan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle too.
Okay, I got Pittsburgh winning this game. Geno's gonna throw 3 interceptions.
I'll wager.
Bills, huh?
I'll wager you on that.
Bills at Titans. Titans might get Julio back. We'll see. Aidan, we're gonna start with you. Who do you got?
Buffalo.
Jake. Okay.
Buffalo.
Daniel.
Huge play on the Patreon for this game, but Titans.
Cody.
Circle the wagon, boys.
What does that mean?
Circle the wagon, the Buffalo Bills. Come on.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
I got the Bills winning only because the Titans defense is horrific. But I do think this game could be close because the Bills, if there's anywhere that they're susceptible to, it's against the run. And the Tennessee Titans have King Henry. And guys, those are our picks. Cody, we're gonna finish it off like we do every single show with you. Start 'em, sit 'em. Who we got for fantasy?
Look, regardless of who's playing quarterback of the New York Giants, I love Kadarius Toney this week. I think the guy has a lot of fight in him, a lot to prove. And without Saquon Barkley, who we all know is a dynamic threat in the passing game, without Sterling Shepard, he may or may not play this week. And then it looks like they're going to be without Kenny Golladay. He should feast in targets this week. Love Kadarius Toney.
Isn't he hurt himself?
Tony?
Tony's limited,
right?
I'm still starting him this week. I think he should have a big week.
What about John Ross? John Ross.
What about John Ross? Relax. All right.
This is true. If you go on Jake's Instagram, Jake has a picture of himself in a John Ross jersey saying, I love watching my boys play. Got to see my guy,
the end zone, man.
John Ross score in the end zone.
That
I can literally count how many games that was because that didn't happen a lot. But yeah, sorry.
John Ross led the team in touchdowns.
I know, 1 year, 7. Wow, so amazing.
Ooh.
So that was
he had like 13 catches and had 7 touchdowns.
So great, so amazing. It sounds like Aidan's stat line in basketball. But
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Another guy I love this week, the Bengals, their defense has done very well, but they have allowed quite a few catches to running backs. That's been one thing they've allowed, and it's been quite solid for them. DeAndre Swift is second among NFL running backs in targets. That Lions team is second among targets to running backs this year. I think DeAndre Swift has a great game against the Bengals, and quite frankly, I don't think he needs touchdowns to do it. I think he's going to catch quite a few passes. I could see him getting double-digit targets. So I love DeAndre Swift this week. And then the last guy, I don't think this is shocking news to anyone with how on fire he's been recently. But I think Dalton Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys has been on fire from a tight end perspective. I'm trading for him. I'm trying to get him in free agency if he's still available, and I'm absolutely starting him this week. I think that Giants offense feasts once again. But I do think Bill Belichick is good at his job. I think he's going to try to take away the deep ball to Cooper and Lamb. And if he's able to do that, and they have great corners in J.C. Jackson and some good secondary help as well on the back end, I think Schultz can be effective, and I expect him to find the end zone this week.
Awesome. Well, guys, we appreciate you guys for tuning in each and every single Wednesday night with us live on the Game Changers. Hopefully you enjoyed this discussion. Hopefully you enjoyed the heated debate. I know we're ending pretty quick, guys, but it was a lot to get through. Didn't get through everything, but that's what next week is for. Jake, we appreciate you, joining the party, being on the show, being a part of the game-changing crew. You still have a little ways to go before you become a game changer, but no, I'm kidding. You did a great job, my man. We appreciate everyone's support. Make sure you guys subscribe to the TWSN YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe to the Patreon if you want to win some money. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And as always, guys, continue to support the team. Look us up on the website, TWSN.net. Got a great group of team members here who write some fantastic articles, are on shows, so on and so forth. And until then, guys, we will see you next week live on the Game Changers. Have a good night, everybody.
The marathon continues. The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Cody, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind.